moving forward to our next presentation, which is with Abdul Kalam Azad, who is head of IT security and compliance at Eastern Bank Limited. And he's just joining us, and we just have to wait. Oh, just, he's here now. So he's Abdul Kalam, and he's an effective problem solving individual with 20 years of experience in protecting organizations' security systems and technology, seeking a challenging position in information security. And his topic is successful IT security strategy, focus on balancing IT security and achieving business outcomes. So let's welcome Abul Kalam. Hi, Abul Kalam. How are you?
Hi, I am fine.
Thank you
How
so
is
much. Uh, all going said. Thank you so much for joining us. We are glad to have you as a keynote speaker and looking forward to have a great session from you.
thank you, Sharina. I am really happy to be part of this uh, master session. I really appreciate your effort to
Thank you.
conduct this. Just give me 2 minutes.
Sure,
Let
sure. No
me.
issues. Take your time.
Good. I'm ready for the presentation.
Okay, good. You
So, am I
can,
audible? Yeah, the sound is clear.
yes, yes, I can hear you
Okay, fine.
properly. So you can share your screen so that I can check that is it properly working with us here. Yeah, I can perfectly see it. So good luck. Stage is all yours now.
Thank you. Mm, Thank you, Platinum Global Security, for organizing such a wonderful master session on IT security. I am really delighted to be a part of this thing. Today's topic is security breach. Are we prepared? Have your incident response ready? I myself, Abul Kalam Ajad, Head of Information Security for Eastern Bank and Joint Secretary for ISACA Dhaka chapter. Here we will discuss the security breach and whether regarding our preparedness for security breach, how can we respond to the security? That's all this thing, and it's really important because lots of security breach are happening across the world, and for this we really need our preparedness and how fast we can respond. As fast as we can respond, we can mitigate the breach and we can protect our infrastructure. So before going to the in details, let me introduce what is incident response. Incident response would be a set of policies that allow an individual to react to an incident in an efficient and professional manner, therefore decreasing the likelihood of grave or consequence. Like if some organization affected by ransomware, how they will respond to this ransomware attack, what they should do at this time, how should they disconnect from the affected system from the network, how they act to mitigate the ransomware. All this policy and procedure is part of incident response. So, if organization has good preparedness regarding incident response, they will be more ready to mitigate the risks. That's why incident response is very important part for cyber security world, and we need better preparedness on this incident response. There is two frameworks, especially NIST and SENSE, which talks about incident response. NIST framework has 4 steps. One is preparation, second is detection and analysis, third is containment, eradication and recovery. Last one is post incident response. But in SENSE incident response process, they have more details. They have 6 stages. First is preparation, identification, containment, recovery, and finally is the lesson run. So we can follow either framework. Both are very well prescribed. So if we follow any of them, we can have better visibility regarding our plan. So if we go in details of the incident response process, we can see preparedness. It is the state ready for any incident. How will be our response? How can we prepare our organization for that preparation? We develop policy procedure for incidents response in that stage. In second stage, identification. At this stage, we really identify the incident, whether it's a ransomware attack, whether it's any other malware, whether it is network-based attack. We identify these things. And such stage, we contain the affected system. Like if we find one system is affected, then we immediately containment such that it cannot spread to other system. Then in next stage, we eradicate the problem. We try to recover, remove the ransomware or related attack or related affect system, that is eradication. And then next stage is recovery. We recover the system for the attack, or whether what based on the attack we try to recover the system either from recovering the system, or it can be from backup system. Anything else we try to restore the system which can be business ready. And finally it is the lesson learned. Whatever lesson we learn from this exercise, we write down into such that in future incident we can refer this lesson for early recovery and early response. So that's how the incident response process works. So if we light on the details of this preparation part, like this is the very important part for incident response. In preparation, we really need to train the team. We have to train our team who will actually work for the incident response. For the training, we can do the contract training, scenario based training, like in ransomware attack, how our employee will respond. Based on scenario, we can preparation training. Again, we can deploy an internal honeypot, but honeypot will act and attacker will come into the honeypot. They and internal employee will analyze the type of attack, what the attacker try to do from the honeypot, and based on this analysis, they can prepare themselves. Organization can also do conduct war games, like different what actually soldiers do before the war. They do the exercise, war exercise, something like that. Somebody will try to hack the organization, and some team will try to mitigate this and try to respond based on the attack. This is the war game. So can be penetration testing, can be red team exercise, blue team exercise. All right. And finally, in the preparation stage, we need good relationship among team member, means collaboration or orchestration of this team member. It can be the within the help desk, system admin team, network administration team, among all the team. In identification, we need to identify the problem as soon as possible. And for that, we have to monitor the alert, and we have to identify alert at early stage. Maintain situation awareness. We have to know knowledge to all situation of the world, like what is going on in the world, what type of attack is going on other part of the world in different country, maybe it financial organization or another organization. So we have to have that knowledge. We should have the current intelligence and correlation intelligence, all these things. So identification, if we have more information, then we can easily identify, or we can identify the problem at early stage. At this stage, we will containment the problem, like which system is affected, we need to contain the system. The goal is to stop the bleeding and stop the attacker to spread across other system. And this method is very important. If we can containment the system at the early stage, then it is possible to prevent the spreading, so more system will not be affected by the attack. So that's the goal of this containment. Then eradication. By stopping the bleeding, I need to eradicate or get rid of any attacker artifact. Like whatever system is affected, where is the bleeding, we have to recover, remove this bleeding, we have to remove this problem. Like if one system is affected by ransomware, so eradication means we have to remove this ransomware from the system such that it cannot do any further damage to the system. So by doing this, we analyze data and mainly isolate the system and studying the attack pattern to eradicate the system. And next stage is recovery, which means we make the system for business ready. It recovery can be fresh system, we replace the affected system by a fresh system, or we replace from the backup, or we recover the ransomware or malware from the system such that it can be business ready. And final stage is the lesson learned. Every time we face different type of attack, different type of breach, so from each attack, from each breach, we learn something. So we have to document all this learning so that any further audience or any further participant, they can know what actually happened, how they remediate for particular case. That is very important, and this is the knowledge sharing part. And if we follow this knowledge sharing part in for a few years, then we can have a rich inventory of knowledge, and rich inventory of knowledge that which really help the organization in future to remediate or mitigate the ransomware or different type of cyber attack. They can respond incident at very easily and can respond the system at earliest possible. So now let's have a look onto the effective incident response team. How can we build effective incident response team? We have mainly 7 tips to build an effective team. First one is establish an incident response team, conduct threat analysis, outline quick response, develop procedure and external communication process. We have to employ training, then test the IR plan. At periodically, we have to test the IR plan at least once in a year, if possible, twice in a year. Then we have to document the knowledge what we learned, knowledge base. So these are the few tips to build an effective incident response team. Here I like to give one example for incident response for ransomware attack. So like if one organization become affected by the ransomware, what they will do, what should be their readiness. So after identify ransomware attack for the organization, they immediately disconnect the infected laptop and desktop, which one is affected. Then they consider Wi-Fi disabling the network, other switch, all the switch is connected to the affected system. And they need to reset credential. These are the few part like identification. After this is the eradication part of this system. Then recovery part they will do before they will restore from the backup, and that backup should be tested prior to restoration. Then after restoration or system recovery, they will connect with the network, all these things, and update antivirus, and finally they will connect to the network, and then will go live into the business. And finally they should monitor the network traffic so that if this type of attack or this type of uh, ransom cannot come in future and cannot affect the system. So these are the way for incident response for the ransomware attack. So what we see in the previous case, like uh, for one organization, they need to have some checklist to check whether their preparedness regarding this type of incident. So based on the checklist, they will can identify the maturity of this incident response preparedness. In the later part, I will come to the maturity part of the incident response, like organization readiness. Before that, I will go to another example. Like we have seen phishing email. when one organization receive mass phishing email, what they actually do. Like one employee receive phishing email, so they need to immediately respond, inform help desk. Help desk then analyze this phishing email, source of the phishing email, and based on the source, they actually block the source such that in future that source cannot send mail. Again, the incident response team should identify is there any impact for that type of phishing email, whether the phishing email carry any malware or any other virus, all these things. So they have to truly analyze the all system of the organization, and based on their analysis, if they identify any ransomware or malware, they need to eradicate. So this is the part of incident response. That's how incident response actually work. So now what we need to consider for incident response? First of all, we need to consider whether IT team has an off-site disaster recovery plan, whether organization have a cyber security strategic plan, whether the organization have a cyber security policy, and they do regular internal security meeting, cyber security awareness training, which is very vital to know for improve all employee of the organization, and finally the incident response plan, whatever incident response plan organization carry and how they respond to the incident. Here is the few effective dose for incident response. Like use forensic tool. We need to have a collection of forensic tool after each incident, such that we can have readily available forensic tools which can be available for incidents response. We have to collect internal, external intelligence based on IOC. Secure system and other media for forensic collection. Collect the appropriate log for both network and endpoint level. Communicate promptly with potential customer and stakeholder. These are the basic dose for effective incident response. In the finally, I like to mention the reference is I have taken few tips and guidelines from SENSE, National Cyber Security Center, NCSC UK, Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA USA, and Stealth Lab. Now at this part, I will show the reference model for incident response. Just give me 1 minute.
Hi, Abul Kalam. Thank you so
Yes,
much for your wonderful session. And I'll ask the audience that if they're having any question, they can ask you in the chat or in the QA session.
sure.
Thank you so much for
Bef-
joining us. So, sorry.
no, it's all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
You can.
great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody.